Welcome back, everybody, to Business Talk, the show where we dive deep into the industries that keep our world moving. I'm your host, DDA, and in today's episode, we got another great episode, actually. I'll be speaking with Karen. She is the owner of Rosso Coffee Bar. How you doing, Karen?
I'm good, thank you, sir. How are you?
I am doing awesome. Thanks for asking. So, listeners, in each episode, our guests share practical tips and valuable advice that can help you navigate life and stay ahead in your own journey, as well as educate you too, as well. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel and stick around because we've got a lot of great information. We're going to be talking about the origin, the roasting process of coffee beans, the bean origins and flavor, as I mentioned earlier. And we're going to also talk a little bit about the tasting and profiles. Karen's going to enlighten us on the coffee bean and her business as well. So, again, Karen, take it away. Let's start off by, if you don't mind, what got you into the world of coffee roasting?
Um, I was in South Korea in 2011, and I had to be there for lengthy months. So I happened to went to my friend's roasting facility and started to learn how to roast coffee there, and also how to brew coffee there.
Is
And
that, yeah, go ahead.
it actually led me to become a coffee taster as well.
So going into tasting coffee back then, right? It was a journey for you. Can you remember the first time when you tasted a roast that was just wow? This is very good tasting. What made it so special?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that was right after we roasted Ethiopian Yirgacheffe from Ethiopia. That's one of the very famous regions, coffee regions in Ethiopia. And it was right after we roasted, you usually taste. And it just blew my mind because it has so much blueberries and lemons and orange zest kind of flavors. And not to mention, the coffee wasn't bitter at all. It was very, very smooth, and it almost felt like a drinking tea instead of coffee. Yeah, that was the wow moment for me.
I can tell. Let me off topic here.
Hmm.
Why does coffee smell so good when you open it up? What do you know what why that aroma is just it smells so good. I always was curious about that.
Well, coffee has a lot of chemistries. Coffee is what we are utilizing as a drink is seed of coffee cherry. So it has a lot of chemistries, and also we cook it, we roast it. In that process, there is a lot of chemical reactions within coffee beans. So it has a little bit of acidity. No, it has a little bit of a water content.
Hmm.
And as we cook it, a little bit of sugar content will start to caramelize, and it seems like a simple, coffee is coffee to a lot of people, but for us to have just coffee, cup of coffee, there goes a lot into it, and that's why coffee smells. If it's a good coffee, you will get this woof of good flavors and dry aromas.
I love
That's
that. That's very well stated. What do most people not know about what goes into roasting coffee beans?
um. First of all, a lot of customers don't put cooking and roasting together. So, in other words, for myself, being a roaster, for me to cook roast coffee, green coffee beans, I have to roast it. So it's either cooking in the oven or cooking coffee beans in the roaster. It's the same mechanism, but they don't link those two.
Together.
So What I do, I mean, what roasters do, we just cook coffee beans, green beans in a very high atmosphere temperature. Then everybody has different recipes. It's a different for everybody. But the way I do it, I only do medium roast compared to light or dark roast.
Well, that's interesting, talking about the roasting process, which you kind of hit it on right now briefly. How do different roast levels, like you said, light, medium, and dark, affect the flavor and the caffeine content?
Well, I mean, I always compare cooking with the coffee roasting process. If it's not well cooked, I mean, if it's too well cooked,
Mm-hmm.
overcooked, then what we get out of the oven is a very dry and tough and not much, flavors
Flavor.
food, right?
Mm-hmm.
So same thing goes with the coffee roasting process. If I prolong the roasting process too long, then coffee beans will lose the water contents. As it happens, then it will start to pop. That's the most sensational action in the roaster. Once it start to pop, then it will release the water content will start to evaporate with those components of flavors. And you have to know when to stop, you know, due to your preferred level of roasting.
Right.
Otherwise, if you just carry on, that water content will start to bring all the things up in the vent. Then what we have left is almost no flavors left coffee beans. But by then, it will be very dark, oily, and big because it's like a popcorn,
It's like, yes.
it pops more. So same thing with the light roast. I don't personally prefer light roasting, so I don't serve light roast in my shop.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not fully, cooked and
Cook.
roasted, then there will be not enough flavors for the coffee beans to offer. It has not been developed. So to me, ultimate level of coffee roasting is medium level.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal choice and personal preference.
Preference.
But then, it could be different for everybody. I was told Northern Europe, they like a light roast. One day I will definitely visit and try it, but haven't hasn't happened yet.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting. I would have never known all that. So good information. Thank you. So we talk about the bean origins and flavor. How do factors like altitude, soil, and climate impact the flavor of the bean itself? Or does it?
It plays a lot into the flavors of coffee beans. To make it simple, everybody knows about wine, how wine tastes
Hmm.
different from different regions, different
Correct.
countries, right? The
Hmm.
only reason why it differs is because, climate has to be suitable and altitude has to be suitable. The water level goes with the climate condition. Same thing. It's in my opinion, higher altitude the better because then the plants cannot ripe coffee cherries too fast, and it has to work harder to make sure that the seeds have everything to reproduce. But if it's a lower level, life is not too hard for plants, in my opinion.
Right.
Same thing. It has to have a certain soil, preferably volcanic soil, and that's why in Central Africa and Colombia, all those countries that they produce excellent coffee for that reason because it's all sitting on coffee farms usually sit on volcanic soil. So volcanic soil has a lot of minerals and a lot of nutrients for any plant, not only for coffee plants. So it does matter. The climate is absolutely important. Soil, kind of soil, absolutely important. How much um, sun comes in shining down on coffee beans and coffee plants really matters. So every little bit, you know, clicks in until we get good cup of coffee.
Wow, very well stated. That's very interesting. I'm sure our listeners are enjoying this as well. By the way, listeners, if you are enjoying this, please leave a comment. Please also feel free to like and subscribe to the channel as well, so I can bring you more content like this in the future. Can you explain the difference between acidity, body, and a finish in coffee? Is there a difference?
Absolutely. First of all, acidity sounds very harsh, right? The word
Correct.
itself is harsh, but the coffee industry decided to use that term for, the bright taste in our mouth. In other words, when you think about lemon or lime, any kind of citrus fruit, we have our mouth start to become watery, right?
Right.
That's because of the acidity in the citrus fruit. And personally, I prefer high acidity, and because I believe, in my opinion, acidity is the one actually gives a vibrant in a coffee taste.
That's a good word.
So I really enjoy high acidity level of coffee, but it's not for everybody. And a lot of time customers are confused, in my opinion, because acidity is it's around your palate,
Right.
not not down your suffocate. So
Right.
our stomach is much more acidic, right? So
Hmm.
that wouldn't really affect your stomach. However, something really bothers their stomach after they have coffee. Most of the time, it's more of from the dark roast. You will get a lot of smoky flavors, and those can really not upsetting your stomach, but it makes
Enhance it, right?
yeah, yeah. And body in coffee a is a level of oil in coffee. So the way you test level of oil in your coffee is that's how we actually practice. Let's say your front teeth is right there and your palate starts right there,
Hmm.
and with the tip of your tongue rub it against your beginning of your palate. Then if it moves smooth and silky, that means it has more oil. That means it's a high body. And if it's kind of water like, it doesn't move fast and smooth, that means it doesn't have enough oil. And therefore, you can say it's a low body in coffee. You can taste it with a full milk and water, and just to feel the difference. Then you will definitely feel the sensations in your mouth. And what was the last one?
The
The
last one was
aftertaste.
the finish in the coffee itself. We talked
Right.
about the body. Yeah.
To me, what plays in that is more of it's everything, to acidity when it comes to into your mouth, then it hits up front, and body will last if it's a higher body, and it will last longer, and it's all linger into your palate. How long it lasts longer in pleasant way, that's the I would say that's a directly measurement that you could say, oh, this is a good coffee versus a bad coffee. If it's a aftertaste, it's a kind of bitter, and stays inside at the back of your in your mouth and
Mouth,
gives you
right?
kind of unpleasant bitterness, then you're not drinking a good coffee. Usually, good coffee lasts longer, very smooth, and it doesn't really have to have bitterness. But coffee beans has a little bit of bitterness for sure. But that if it comes from coffee itself, it usually very pleasant, not unpleasant bitterness from defect or overly roasted like dark roast.
Wow, Karen, this was great information. Wow, thank you so much for being able to
Oh,
share
thank
your
you.
insight, on the coffee process itself. Very intriguing. Love being able to speak with you and allowing you to share this with our listeners. So as we wrap up, could you provide our listeners with the phone number maybe to get a hold of you, as well as other ways to get a hold of you?
Of course. My our phone number is 407-687-8128. You can text or call to that number at any time. And we are just about to launch our website. That will be rossocb.com, and it will be launched in next few days, and you will
Well,
be able to
Karen,
purchase things.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us about the roasting process and your business. And hopefully we can have you back again in the near future.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a wonderful day. Thanks.
You as well. You're very welcome.
Thank you for tuning in to First Media Consulting Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe today. To nominate a business you would like to recommend to be on our show, go to firstmediaconsulting.com or call. Thank you for listening.